In 1956, an Egyptian military officer named Abdel Nasser overthrew the government and put himself in charge. Nasser continued to rule the country until his death in 1970. Abdel Nasser was an Arab nationalist. His dream was to unite the Arab nation against the Israelis and throw Israel into the sea. However, having fought the Israelis, he knew that his military, made up mostly of farmers, was never going to be able to conquer and destroy the Israeli military, which was one of the most highly trained and capable militaries on earth. In order to be able to succeed, he knew he needed to modernize Egypt. In order to modernize Egypt, he needed power, not power in a political sense, but in a natural resources sense. The only thing Egypt really has, though, is the Nile. Because of this, Nasser began construction on the Aswan High Dam. That yellow arrow is pointing at the city of Aswan, where the dam was built. The dam was completed in 1970. The idea of building a dam is to provide hydroelectric power. Egypt produces some of the highest quality cotton on earth. You may very well have Egyptian cotton towels or Egyptian sheets. The idea would be that Egypt would grow the cotton. The electricity that was provided by the Aswan High Dam would allow for them to turn the cotton into products that they could sell around the world, then take that money, educate people, build a military class, and construct a strong military that then would be able to overthrow the Israelis. When you build a dam, though, you get a lake. The red arrow is pointing at the lake. The lake is named after him. It's called Lake Nasser. The result of building a dam, though, has been multifaceted. First, when you visit Egypt and you go to Aswan, they now suggest that you take the malaria prophylactic. Malaria mosquitoes lay their eggs in standing water. When the Nile was flowing, there was almost no malaria. But in southern Egypt now, there are problems with it. And remember, I told you that what allowed the ancient civilizations to build themselves up was the flooding of the Nile and then the deposition of silt. When you build a dam, the flooding stops. And when the flooding stops, the silt stops. At the time the dam was completed, Egypt's population was 25, maybe 30 million. The population has more than tripled since then. Had the population remained 25 to 30 million, this might have worked. But because the population is now 100 million, half of whom are farmers, the Egyptians need more, not less, farmland. And what has begun to happen is this. Because of the dam and because of the lake, there's less freshwater discharge that flows through the Nile Valley, entering into the delta, and then flowing into the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean is a very salty body of water. Every day, every moment, the waves from the Mediterranean lap at the North African coastline. Over hundreds of thousands of years, the water from the Nile and the waves from the Mediterranean came to equilibrium along the Egyptian coastline. However, with that decreased discharge, because the dam blocks the flow of the Nile, less fresh water exits through the delta and enters into the Mediterranean. But the Mediterranean keeps throwing waves at the delta. The result is that, first of all, the delta, some of the most fertile agricultural land on earth, is eroding back. Second of all, brackish water is now forming in the delta. Brackish water is a mix of fresh and salt water. Now, you can clean that soil and get rid of the salt, but it's very expensive and Egypt cannot afford that. The result is that Egypt is actually losing farmland at a time when they really need more farmland. If you take a look at this picture, again, it's a lush landscape in the Nile River Valley. And then look and you can see, those are the high tension wires from the Aswan High Dam. The electrical lines run from the dam all the way to Cairo and then from Cairo to Alexandria. This is Cairo. It's a massive, modern primate city. Perhaps 25 million people live in and around Cairo. It's modern. It needs electricity. So you could say, why not just take the dam down? The problem with taking the dam down is you also turn the lights off when you do that. Now, of course, Egypt has a tourism sector almost like no other country in the world. I don't even need to tell you what you're looking at there. But notice in the background how close the pyramids of Giza are to the city. You can see the city of Cairo right in the background. Because they have so many things left over from the ancient Egyptians, that tourism sector will never go away. Whether Egypt is at the top of your list or not, if you travel, Egypt is definitely on your list. Of course, one of the most fascinating things the ancient Egyptians did was mummify things. And I say things because they obviously did not only mummify people. I often wonder, that must have been a very important dog. Whose dog was that? This is Ramses, as in the Ramses who dealt with Moses. If you go to the National Museum in Cairo, Ramses' mummified body is right there. You are looking right at the man who dealt with Moses. It's incredible. And in so many ways, Egypt is an incredible country.